everybody, and happy Friday. I'd like to talk about something today, being PTSD, and more importantly, why counsellors, therapists, psychologists, etc., who get you to talk about and recall the traumatic event that caused your PTSD are actually doing more harm than good. When you as a PTSD sufferer are asked to recall the trauma, you go totally back into that memory, fully reliving it all over again in your head, causing you to feel very strong emotions that, well, it actually embeds the traumatic memory even deeper. What we should be doing to help clients overcome trauma is to keep your awareness focused on the present during the process of healing, so that the rational part of your brain can then reframe the traumatic memory as nothing more than a past event, which no longer causes high emotional arousal. Let's start by understanding PTSD. It all begins with a stimulus from our environment, the activating agent, let's say, which is the event you experienced or witnessed that involved actual or threatened serious physical harm. Our brain's alarm system then kicks in, the amygdala. It pattern matches the incoming stimulation, comparing it with fear memories, or let's say templates of past experiences, to determine whether or not this stimulus is actually good or bad for us. A perceived threat, or in other words, a pattern match that it finds between this new stimulus coming to us and the past experience, this sets in motion the thing you have often heard of, which is freeze, fight or flight response. And this is a normal, if primitive, survival mechanism. That is, it's normal in normal times. If, however, we are highly stressed because we are experiencing a life-threatening incident, then things go wrong. The communication between our amygdala, that little alarm system, and our hippocampus next door to it, which puts all this into context before filing it away, this communication breaks down when we're highly stressed in that critical moment, which of course then stops the transfer or the storing or filing away of the memory in our neocortex. So now we are left with the trauma pattern of what just happened still stuck in the amygdala, which, remember, is the brain's alarm system. Now, each time that particular memory is reactivated by some stimulus or other, a smell or a sound or whatever, even if it only part matches the original traumatic event, the amygdala will still trigger the alarm reaction. And because the rational part of our brain has been shut down, that's not going to give it any sort of objective feedback and analyze the situation. So now we literally have an imprint of the trauma stuck in our alarm system, where it constantly compares all new stimuli against this imprint. And as soon as it gets even a part match, it activates a response, believing it is protecting us. Now we experience a strong emotional arousal, which causes us to think emotionally rather than rationally. The more emotionally aroused we are, however, the less we are able to think straight. And this is what causes the flashbacks, the panic attacks, etc. So you can see, if we are deliberately recalling the trauma, we are actually embedding it deeper in the person's emotional brain. And that is why the technique I utilize consists of what we would call closure without disclosure. That is, there is no need to disclose details of the event, no need to talk about it, etc. We ensure that you're in a relaxed, calm state, and then use a proven effective technique. Because when you're in a relaxed, calm state, obviously, you're not in a high emotional arousal. So we use this technique that recodes the traumatic memory as a low arousal memory, meaning that, of course, the memory is still there, but now it is stored away where it should be. It will no longer involuntarily come back to you. And because it's no longer in the amygdala, for comparison, it no longer triggers the alarm system, as the traumatic reaction pattern is now dissolved. So yeah, there you go. If you or anyone you know has had enough of having to talk about and relive the terror, then book a free call in the link below and I can explain the process in more detail. Cheers and have a great weekend.